So we're very close to the end of the Mishnah Ketubot. We're going to finish the Mishnah today. We've covered essentially the whole of the life cycle of a marriage, from the agreements that are made under the chuppah or before actually entering the chuppah, to the financial arrangements that are made after the death of the husband to support the widow. And it's very interesting that the Mishnah Ketubot is taught in the Seder, in the order of Nashim, before the Mishnah of Kiddushin, before the Mishnah of betrothal. So essentially we learn the halacha, we learn the law of marriage before we learn the law of betrothal. So in some senses, we're the wrong way round. But it's very interesting that the law of betrothal, which begins the tractate of Kiddushin, I guess begins the marriage process, actually begins with a reference to the land of Israel. So the law that a man marries a woman by giving her something of value. I mean, it's a ring today, but it could be anything of value. It's symbolic value. It's anything of value. It's a symbolic object. Is learned out by the rabbis from the original purchase of the burial cave for Sarah by Abraham. And Abraham pays an enormous price, right? Enormous price for this cave, which he purchases for his wife. And analogies between marriage, between man and wife, and the relationship between the Jewish people and the land of Israel actually run right the way through the tractate of Kiddushin. The story of the destruction of the temple is taught in the tractate of Gittin, in the tractate of divorce. And we're going to see now that the Mishnah of Ketubot, which is the Mishnah of marriage, actually ends with a discussion about the land of Israel. Hakol ma'alin le'eretz Yisrael ve'ein hakol motzein. Everyone can bring up to the land of Israel. Ve'ein hakol motzein. But I translated this as not take away. Literally, everyone cannot take away. Everyone can bring up to the land of Israel, but not take away. And in parallel, hakol ma'alin Yerushalayim. Ve'ein hakol motzein. Everyone can bring up to Jerusalem, but may not take away. And it's very cryptic, this comment, and it's explained by Maimonides. And I wanted to bring you, I hope you don't mind if I bring you Maimonides, just to explain. Hakol ma'alim, and everybody, anybody can bring up. He explains this as either one, the kol echad ve'echad mishnehem kofeh ze lazeh la'alot la'eretz Yisrael. Either one of them. This applies both to the man and the woman. By the way, this is probably the first time in the whole of the Mishnah of Ketubot that we've seen reciprocal halachot. So we've seen many protections for the wife, and we've seen many protections for the husband, and we've seen different obligations, that sit on each one of them. But in almost every situation where we've looked at responsibilities of husband and wife in the Mishnah of Ketubot, we found that they are different. They may be reciprocal, but they are different. This is the first time that the Rambam is able to say v'chol echad ve'echad mishnehem. Either one of them. This right applies equally, apparently. Either one of them can compel the other to go up to the land of Israel. So either one can demand that they live in the land of Israel. La'alot le'eretz Yisrael, or Yerushalayim, or to Jerusalem. And what happens if they refuse? Ve'im hi ma'akvo teitzei b'lo ketubah. And if she prevents him, then she's divorced with her ketubah. Ve'im hu ma'akev, and if he prevents her, the implication is clearly her, yotzi ve'yitain ketubah. She goes out and he gives her ketubah. In other words, she goes out with a financial settlement. She can make aliyah to the land of Israel, or to go up to Jerusalem as a rich woman with all the money of her ketubah. And it's very interesting that the philosophers, right, debate whether or not Maimonides thought it was an important, whether it's a mitzvah to live in the land of Israel. He doesn't include it in the 613 mitzvot, but of course, many, many mitzvot are dependent on the land of Israel. He himself lived in the land of Israel for a while, and it's quite clear just from his interpretation of, well, okay, he's now interpreting the Mishnah, but his sort of, the sense is very clear. So the Mishnah closes then with a discussion about going up to the land of Israel as a kind of an issue that something that might be of issue in the marriage. And by the way, this has caused problems in medieval times with men who wanted to divorce their wife without paying the ketubah and threatened to take them to the land of Israel. So this is two-edged and has to be interpreted carefully, but the sense is very clear. The Mishnah then goes on with an incomprehensible line, which the commentators don't really clarify. Women and slaves are the same. So perhaps this means, by the way, that a slave can compel his or her master to go up to the land of Israel or to Jerusalem. Maybe this is what it means. But it goes on to say, Ketzad, well, how does that work? And the explanation given is on a completely different topic. It's to do with currency. Nasai shab eretz Yisrael v'ger shab eretz Yisrael noten la mima'ot eretz Yisrael. If someone married a woman in Israel and divorced her in Israel, he must pay her. This means he must pay her ketubah in the currency of the land of Israel. If he married a woman in the land of Israel and divorced her in Cappadocia, he must still pay her in the currency of the land of Israel. Nasai shab eretz Yisrael v'ger shab Cappadocia notain la mima'ot eretz Yisrael. So the currency of the land of Israel seems to, if you like, take precedence. And I guess we could argue that the debt was incurred in the land of Israel, and that is a rational reason why he should pay in the currency of the land of Israel. And remember that the money in the ketubah is, after all, a debt. It's a creditor's claim on the husband. But it doesn't seem to work quite as neatly the other way around. Nasai isha b'Cappadocia, v'ger shab eretz Yisrael, notain la mima'ot eretz Yisrael. If he married a woman in Cappadocia and divorced her in the land of Israel, he must again pay her in the currency of the land of Israel. This seems really odd. And Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel is going to disagree. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel omer mima'ot Cappadocia. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says, no, he pays her in the currency of Cappadocia. So he disagrees with the first opinion in the Mishnah. I think the halacha goes according to Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, although it doesn't really affect us nowadays. And the heart of the dispute seems to be about the value of the currency. Apparently, dinars in Cappadocia were heavier, they weighed more. So Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says, look, this is a deraita, it's an obligation deraita, he has to pay in the more expensive money. And by the way, there's another opinion in the Yerushalmi that says that the currency of the land of Israel was heavier, and perhaps that explains the first Mishnah. So we could go down, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I mean, I just think it's very interesting that we close the Masechet by talking about geography and about the land of Israel, and then the Masechet closes Nasa isha b'Cappadocia, v'ger shab b'Cappadocia notain lami ma'ot Cappadocia. If he married a woman in Cappadocia and divorced her in Cappadocia, this is basically the edge of Greece and Turkey. It's not very far away. He must pay her in the currency of Cappadocia. So somehow we end the Masechet thinking about a little bit about Eretz Yisrael, but a bit about the diaspora. And now we can recite the Hadran. Hadran alaf, Masechet Ketubot. We will return to you, Masechet Ketubot, vehadrach alan, and you will return to us. Da'atan alach, Masechet Ketubot. Our mind is on you, Masechet Ketubot, ve'datach alan, your mind is on us. And indeed, our minds have been on this Masechet. It's a giant, difficult Masechet. Our minds have really been on this for a long time. Lo nitn shem minach. Lo nitn shem minach Masechet Ketubot. We will not forget you, Masechet Ketubot. Velo titn shem minach. And you will not forget us. Lo ba'alma hadain. Velo ba'alma da'ati. Not in this world and not in the world to come. You know, the Masechet of Ketubot really covers so many different aspects of halacha. It covers marriage, but it covers, we've seen recovery of debts, we've seen mortgages, we've seen all kinds of civil law. We absolutely cannot escape from all the different halachot that we've learned in the Mishnah of Ketubot, and we're certainly not going to forget it.